Welcome. In this video, we're going to talk about Joann closing down completely this May 30th, which is already passed, so they are completely closed. And I'm going to give you some updates about what Michael's stores are doing about it. So stay tuned and let's dive right in.
I could be a lighthouse in the fog, trying my best to guide you back to us.
So Joann officially closed all their stores on May 30th, 2025. But right after that happened, Michael's swooped in and bought all the intellectual property of Joann's. Now, if you remember when Hancock's closed some time ago, years ago, that Michael's went in and swooped up all their intellectual property, but we didn't notice that they increased any fabrics from Hancock's into their stores. So that was kind of interesting. So I didn't really see any, I don't know what the benefit is of Michael's going in and collecting all the intellectual property. If they don't have a game plan, maybe it's just more to protect their brand and keep other people from coming in and competing. Not quite sure what's going on there, but if you're not carrying a supply, that's not going to hurt you if somebody else is, right? So anyway, they completed the deal of the intellectual property purchase on June 5th, 2025. So it was just a few days ago. Anyway, hi, I'm Katerina in case you don't know. And I have my channel called Create with Katerina. If you are looking for my business channel, this is not it. So you can look in my description to get the link to my business strategy channel. So just so that sometimes people do come here and they're like, why are you talking about sewing when I want to talk about SEO? So anyway, so now let me tell you what this includes in the intellectual property. And I have some sheets in front of me. So if I put my eyes down, it's because I don't want to make any mistakes about the brands. Okay. So we do know that there's this big thing about the big twist yarn. So a lot of crocheters and people who knit were very concerned because Joann's has the intellectual property and owns the big twist, yarn products, right? The whole line. And they had launched some new parts of that line and new yarns within that product line. So what Michael's did was they bought the intellectual property to Big Twist Value Plus, Twinkle, Posh, and Baby Bear. So just so you know, those are all been purchased by Michael's. And Michael says that those are going to start hitting the stores at all Michael's stores later this year. Okay, so if you're into crocheting, crafting, even sewing, I use yarn in sewing too. So I love to crochet as well. I just don't have time to right now, just like I love to quilt, but I haven't been able to quilt right now except for quilting bags, quilting the bag and quilting, the products that I sell. Michael's is adding over 600 Joann Styles items into their inventory. So this is going to include quilting fabrics, specialty threads, and they're going to also bring on the Brother and Singer sewing machines. Now, I don't use either. I'm a big Bernina addict. I'm a big Bernina fan, I should say. Just like I'm an Apple fan. Every computer I have is a Mac. MacBook. I have a MacBook Pro, iMacs, iPhone, iWatch. So everything I have is technology-wise is made by Apple, and everything sewing-wise, I like Bernina the best. So, but Brother and Singer will be moving into Michael's, and they are expanding their fabric departments. Remember all of you comments about how there's not going to be any, when you go into Michael's, when I told you to go to Michael's to shop for fabric and you come back to me and you say, I went and there's no fabric. Well, just be patient. They're going to expand their fabric departments to over 680 Michael's stores and 280 more on the way. So they're planning to make some more Michael's stores, and they're going to be expanding. They're just right now trying to figure out how to reconfigure their floor plans to fit the more fabrics. What I'm hoping for is that they're going to cut back on their framing department, because they have such a huge framing department in most Michaels store. And I don't believe that they get that much business to keep warranting that much space when you could use that for crafters and sewers. And because we buy a lot more, I think that they, over time, that they could make a lot more money by catering to having more fabric tables and teaching their staff how to cut fabric, etc. I'm very fortunate. In my Michaels store, the girl that cuts the fabric, and I always go when she's working, she sews. So she understands fabrics, and she was buying, Joann's happened to be 2 stores down from my Michaels. So you went to both usually. If you went to Joann's, you also stopped in Michaels and vice versa. So she bought her fabrics at Joann's too, so she knew what we were all going through. The other thing is that I spoke to the manager at my Michaels, and they said that they just had a meeting with all the Joann Buyers. So every big store, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, JCPenney's, everybody, they hire professional buyers who then go and source products for the store. And so they met with the Joann professional buyers, career buyers, and asked them what their 100 top selling fabric SKUs were. So I believe that was part of their process of trying to figure out how much they wanted to spend and offer on the intellectual property rights. Also, if you're adding, they're also going to add more sewing tools, and they're going to carry the brands Fisker, Clover, more Pellon, Coates and Clark, and then a lot more. And they're going to also cover pull-in Velcro and the Oliso irons. So those are some things that Joann's had, and they are going to be starting to be stocked at Michaels. If you go to Joann.com, because I used to shop online all the time, even though the store is only 10 minutes away from me, I was very frustrated with Joann because I would go in and they didn't have the stuff that I needed. And so I would just end up buying things online, because then they would ship it from wherever they did have it. But if you go to Joann.com, it will forward you now to Michaels, and there'll be a welcome page welcoming all the Joann buyers there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any announcements that we have in the sewing, crafting, journaling world. So I cover sewing, crafting, journaling, thrifting, reselling, making products to sell. I have Etsy shops. So anything that you're interested in, let me know. I love to do upcycling. Vintage is my thing. So let me know in the comments what kind of videos you like. I would be happy to make them for you. And then let me just tell you that, so that's some exciting news. Let's see what happens. And I will talk to you in the next video.